Now call to order the regular town board meeting for the town of Arundecoit, April 17th, 2018. Visitors are invited to join board members in rising to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Councilwoman Hush-LaRae.
Here.
Councilman Perticone.
Here.
Councilwoman Romeo.
Here.
Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Supervisor Seeley.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. We have a nice turnout here. I assume most of that is for our pre-agenda ceremonies and presentations, so welcome all. I'd also like to welcome Cub Scout Troop 222 from Charlotte, who's visiting across the river. Thank you. There they are back there. Thanks for joining us tonight. Welcome. Just for folks watching at home, we have 4 public hearings, which we won't start pursuant to town law until 7:35. If you are here to speak on one of the 4 public hearings, there is a sign-up sheet over there, and each sign-up sheet for each public hearing. If you wish to address the board on any topic, we will do public input, and that allows you to talk to us about any topic non-related to the public hearing. The sign-up is over on the table to the side as well. A few remarks before we convene for our pre-meeting presentations. First of all, I just want to thank the town staff, all of our first responders, and residents who were so helpful during the windstorm earlier this month. It wasn't nearly as forceful or impactful as the 2017 storm, but we once again showed our willingness to care for our fellow residents. The Friday after the storm, the town staff and members of our firefighter community and other first responders visited the homes of several hundred residents still without power. We thank RG&E for their cooperation in that effort. We just wanted to ensure people had a warm place to stay, as most were without power until the following Saturday. So we're grateful for that, and thanks as always to all of our residents. A few announcements. This past Saturday, April 7th, the town hosted a paper shredding event. I'd like to thank all the residents who took part in this event, which above all is good for the environment. Many thanks to Erica Walther at Keller Williams Realty and Mark S. Gunther, attorney at law, for sponsoring the event. This coming Thursday, April 19th, will mark our 2nd annual Senior Expo from 9 a.m. to noon at the Newcomb Friendship Center at St. Cecilia's on Culver Road. All senior residents are encouraged to come take advantage of this free event that features local health providers and wellness professionals, along with many also area not-for-profits and government agencies. We did it last year for the first time. It was a great success. We had a couple hundred people, and we look forward to it continuing to grow. Again, that's this coming Thursday at St. Cecilia's in the morning. As I speak, the 60th annual Arundecoit Spring Art Show is up and running next door at the library. That goes through April 21st. I encourage all residents to visit the library to check out really the wonderful artwork done by our residents. I had the pleasure of helping the art club kick off the event last week and congratulate the award winners. In 3 years, I think this has become one of my favorite annual events. It's always nice to see just all the great artwork that our residents produce. Really fantastic stuff. So I encourage you to visit the library during regular business hours. Summer camp registration. It may be snow on the ground right now, but there's a summer camp registration up and running for all town residents. Please visit www.arundecoitrec.com for full listing of camps to register, or call us at 336-6070 for more information. I'll note that registration for all other summer programming, the non-camps, begins May 3rd. Invigorate Arundecoit, our annual Town Beautification Day, will take place May 5th. A Saturday from 8:30 to noon. Residents can come at 8:30, enjoy a free breakfast and a pep talk from yours truly, and then be dispatched throughout the town to help us with various projects, including our town parks, our town right-of-ways, our Welcome to Arundecoit signs. It's always a very nice event. I think this is the 5th or 6th year we've done it, and we always are grateful for our residents who help us beautify our town. Please call 336-6029 if you're interested. We'd love to have you. May 18th, a Friday, is Family Fun Night at McAvoy Park. That's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This is a free event that features all sorts of fun things to do under the lights. We'll have a DJ, and again, it's free, and many fun things for all the kids to participate in, and perhaps some adults. Thursday, May 24th, marks the first night of our farmers market. Yes, believe it or not, summer and late spring is approaching. That's on the west lawn of Town Hall. The weekly market, which gets bigger every year, runs through mid-October. There's also free live musical entertainment each week, starting in late May through mid-September. That's from 6 to 7:30. The market starts every week at 4 p.m. Our first movie, Under the Stars, will be Thursday, July 12th at 7:30 p.m. We'll be showing The Polar Express. That's right, Christmas in July. I'll note that we have 4 movies under the stars this year. This is the first year we're actually going to be providing captioning for our deaf and hard of hearing residents, so we welcome them and hope that they come join us as well. And it's always fun seeing families out on the lawn enjoying movies under the star on the west lawn of Town Hall near the gazebo. A few announcements courtesy of our police department. The second annual Heroes on Boots on Both Sides Autism 5K Run will take place Saturday, April 21st. This benefits the Autism Council of Rochester and law enforcement training programs. Register today or email at info@theautismcouncil.org. Again, that is Saturday, April 21st at 8:20 out on Scottsville Road at the Public Safety Training Facility. On April 28th, Autism with Heroes on Both Sides. We invite residents to meet the members of the Irondequoit Police Department at Autism Awareness Day. Our police department does a terrific job in working with our community of people on the autism spectrum. It's something we're very proactive and progressive about. So that will be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the police department? Police department, Chief? Yes, the police department. Thank you. I should know my addresses by now. Police department's 1300, library's 1290, town hall 1280. There will be, on Saturday, April 28th, there will be a prescription drug drop-off at the police department from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We do this in partnership with our Defy Together Drug Free Irondequoit Coalition and the PTSA. Again, that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday the 28th at the town hall. Come by. It's very efficiently run. Drop off your prescription drugs. And finally, every month we recognize a great member of our staff with our Staff Spotlight Award. We do that at the workshop meeting preceding the town board meeting. This month we recognize Jenna Sargent. Jenna runs our senior activities programming over at Pine Grove. She's been a very welcome addition to our team and really is doing some terrific things. I know she's very highly thought of by our senior clients over at the senior center, and we are just very grateful for the wonderful job that she does. And with that, I am now going to invite my board members to join me at the podium for a few presentations before we start our regular business. So we have 2 proclamations tonight, one of which has become a tradition that we're very proud of and happy to do. The other one is a new proclamation that hopefully will become an annual event as well. First, I would like to invite Angela Colazzo up to the podium to join me. Angela. We have now for the past few years, I'd say for the past 3 years perhaps, been proud to partner with the Ali Shea Project to bring awareness to osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as OI, in memory of Irondequoit resident Ali Shea. She was born with OI and lived an amazing 5 weeks battling what is better known as brittle bone disease. Since the tragic loss of Ali, her parents, Angela and Kim, and their daughter Ella, have worked to bring awareness and raise thousands of dollars in support of OI research and support for families. And we're once again proud to proclaim the first full week of May Osteogenesis Imperfecta Awareness Week in the town of Irondequoit. I will read a proclamation in a truncated form and then ask Angelo to say a few words. It reads, whereas a great society is only as great as those organizations that perform exemplary service on behalf of their community, and whereas osteogenesis imperfecta, also known as brittle bone disease, is a genetic disorder characterized by fragile bones that break easily, a person is born with this disorder and is affected throughout his or her lifetime. And whereas because there is no cure for OI, treatment focuses on minimizing fractures, the surgical correction of deformity, reducing bone fragility, maximizing mobility and independent function. And whereas increased funding for education and research are needed to help find more effective treatments, and it is important that there be no greater public awareness of rare disorders and diseases of unmet need, and there must be more done to increase support of those affected as well as their families. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, David A. Seeley, in the town of Irondequoit, the town board on behalf of all residents, join with others across our state and country, including the Osteogenesis Imperfecta Foundation, in recognizing May 5th through the 12th, 2018, as Osteogenesis Imperfecta Week, and offer our support in raising awareness for this rare disorder. Signed, the Town Board of Arundecoit. So on behalf of the residents, and we're happy to partner with the Ali Shea Project. We do this with the memory of your daughter, and it's always terrific to see you. Please give Angela a round of applause.
Once again, I'd like to thank Supervisor Seeley and the Town Board for this. I'll be brief since I have a packed crowd here and there's a lot to do.
Take your
But I just want to say that for the people who are not familiar with OI, it's a lot easier to say OI than osteogenesis imperfecta 5 times fast. But we never heard of it until Allie was born. When we went for our 20-week ultrasound, the doctor called us at 11:15 at night, which scared us once we found out it was a doctor. And he said there was something wrong with the ultrasound and he wanted us to come back. He said it could have been just mismeasurement, but Allie's arms and legs were going 4 weeks behind where they should have been at 20 weeks. So we didn't get no sleep that night, went back the next day, and he confirmed that her arms and legs were growing slower than the rest of her body. So after many, many ultrasounds and many, many different syndromes and diseases and everything that was thrown out, the doctors had no clue what was going on with Allie. And this is how rare this disease is. So we finally got released to Strong Hospital, and doctors there were always stumped. They always told us it was this. One doctor said, no, it's not this, it's this. We didn't know until the day she was born. And that's when, I kid you not, 20 doctors, geneticists, nurses, and physician assistants all came in our room and told us that Allie had osteogenesis imperfecta, type 2, which is the most fatal. And we had no clue what they were talking about. And so the geneticists broke it down, and basically they told us to be prepared for the worst. They didn't think she was going to make it past the night. But she fought for 5 weeks, and I got to hold her in her arms before she passed away. And that was the first time I got to hold her. And as parents here, you know, holding your child when they're born, skin to skin, is like the most important thing. I never got to hold her like that until the day she was passing away. And on that day, I promised her, we promised her that we'll keep her fight together, or keep her fight alive. So for the past, she would have been 9 years old this past 14th. And sorry. For the past 9 years, we have been keeping that fight strong. And if you see me on Facebook, I'm always posting about it. I'm always thinking of some kind of way to raise awareness because I don't want it to be forgotten. I'm trying to get doctors to change their mind about this disease because, believe it or not, there's doctors who will not treat people who have OI because, for one, they don't know much about it. And 2, they're afraid of getting sued because just putting on a t-shirt, rolling over in bed, somebody could break a leg. Just getting up out of a chair, they could break the arm. Coughing too hard, they could break their ribs or their collarbone. So we've been trying to do this fight for 9 years, and so far we have raised over $70,000. And every penny that we raise goes to the OI Foundation. And as the Ali Shea Project, other thing that we do, we send little care packages all over the world to kids who have this brittle bone disease. And I tell you, there's no greater feeling than when you're doing something for somebody else. We get pictures and emails and phone calls in from parents, and like, our child broke their leg or whatever and had surgery, multiple surgeries they could have. But when they got your package, this is the first time I see them smile in a long time. And that means a lot. And people say I'm doing such a great job, I'm such a great person, but what it boils down to, I'm just a father who made a promise to his daughter, and by hell or high water, I'm going to keep it. And proclamations like this helps. We're slowly gaining steam, and we're about as grassroots as you would get. It's just my wife and I, and my daughter Ella, which is Allie spelled backwards. So we continue to fight. I mean, I'm not going to give this up until the day that it's my time to leave. So I really do appreciate everything this town has done for me. I'm very thankful, and I'm humbled by being up here in front of everybody and getting such a great honor. Thank you so much.
We really do appreciate all you do, Angelo, and we're always happy to partner with you on this. As we've now for the past several years supported efforts for OI awareness and treatment and support for families, the town board is now happy to support and bring attention to another worthy cause, especially like Angelo, when such efforts are spearheaded by our wonderful residents. And tonight we're very proud to present a proclamation in support of Apraxia Awareness Day. Childhood apraxia of speech is a motor speech disorder that first becomes apparent when a child is learning speech and language. It is not entirely known why certain children experience somewhat greater difficulty in generating the movements of the tongue to create the speech that most of us seem to take for granted. However, we do know that greater public awareness and education efforts may help lead us to better understanding of this disorder. Indeed, every child deserves a voice in our community. I would like to now welcome up to the podium April Adams, who's celebrating her birthday today, her husband Gary, their beautiful daughter Ella, and the rest of their family. And I believe, is Daphne here today? And Daphne, and if your mother Stephanie wants to come up too, I would be honored. Please give them a round of applause. So April approached me several weeks ago about the upcoming Apraxia Kids Day, May 14th. It's an effort that she's taking on. It's a personal effort to her. I think she can tell you a little bit more about what she has planned at an event at the library, but we're very grateful that you brought this to our attention. I think sometimes disorders that perhaps we're not cognizant of or a lot of us haven't heard of, it's important for us in this forum to provide that information. So just as hopefully we've helped bring more awareness to osteogenesis imperfecta, or OI, in turn this will help bolster and increase awareness of apraxia. With that, I'm going to present a proclamation, which again I'll read in a truncated form. Whereas childhood apraxia of speech, also known as CIS, is considered a neurological speech disorder that affects a child's ability to clearly and correctly produce syllables and words, and whereas currently the causes of CIS are uncertain and most often no specific cause is found, and whereas this condition is oftentimes misunderstood and suffering from it can be extremely frustrating for the child as they work to develop crucial language skills because they know what they would like to say, but apraxia makes it difficult for them to properly formulate and pronounce the words. Whereas Apraxia Kids is a not-for-profit charity dedicated to strengthening the support systems in the lives of children with childhood apraxia of speech so that each child is afforded the best opportunity to develop speech and communication. And whereas greater public awareness and education about this challenging speech disorder will help ensure more is done to increase support of those affected as well as their families. Therefore, let it be known that we, David A. Seeley, and the Town Board, on behalf of the Town of Arundecoit, join with Apraxia Kids in recognizing May 14th, 2018, as Apraxia Awareness Day and offer our support in raising awareness about this rare disorder. Please give a round of applause to April.
Thank you so much. Like Supervisor Seeley said, apraxia is a rare condition. I know of 2 people in Arundecoit who have it, both who are here. My daughter Ellie, she's 5, and Daphne. Daphne is 3. And usually you start to notice around the age when they're beginning to speak that they don't really gain language like other children do. Ellie didn't say any words at 2 years old, so we knew that something was going on. And after getting her evaluated, she started speech, so she's been in very intensive speech since she was 2 years old to get to where she is today. And I have started a group in Rochester for families whose children have apraxia, and this May 14th, we are holding an event at the library on Apraxia Awareness Day, and we've got some really fun things going on. Everyone's welcome to come. We have some local Arundecoit businesses coming, so it'll be a good time. Stop in if you'd like to. Do you want to say anything? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much again. Please give them a round of applause for bringing these worthy causes to our attention. I'm now going to hand over the podium to Chief Tantillo, temporarily relieve me as Master of Ceremonies, and invite him to come up.
put the captain in the right spot. Thank you very much, Mr. Supervisor and the town board. If I could call upon Sergeant Andrew Whitaker and his family to come forward, please. Is that everybody, Andrew? Okay, all right, very good. Officer Whitaker was recently promoted to the position of sergeant, and we're here tonight to swear him in. A little bit of background in regards to Sergeant Whitaker. He has an associate's degree in criminal justice from MCC. He's been an Arundecoit police officer since 2004. Previously, he was with the Geneva Police Department for 2 years. He's been assigned to our road patrol unit for a number of years and was assigned to community services from 2012 to 2016. During that time, Sergeant Whitaker was instrumental in our National Night Out program, our annual Victims Vigil during the month of October. He initiated the very first IPD Autism Awareness Open House. He initiated the Kickball with the Cops program that was so popular the fire department decided to join us. And he initiated the police club after school program at one of our middle schools. And he certainly was instrumental in our police chaplain program here in the Arundecoit Police Department. He's been the liaison to our local schools, to our local neighborhood groups, and was instrumental in several critical incidents and investigations where he served in a very important role as a liaison to those families that were unfortunately the victim of crime. And one of those families is here tonight to help celebrate this important milestone for Officer Whitaker. He's a police instructor, dare instructor, taser instructor, ATV officer, bicycle officer. He's completed tactical warrant training, building search training, and is highly decorated police officer, both within the department and in New York State. He was selected as the New York State Stop DWI Officer of the Year Award and has several commendations from Monroe County Stop DWI. In addition to all of that and his busy family duties, he has volunteered for the Special Olympics. He has volunteered his time to participate in Kickball with the Cops at our local playgrounds, volunteered at Dollars for Scholars Dodgeball at Eastridge High School, volunteered for Shop with a Cop, and has volunteered to assist with the 4th of July 10K run during our annual celebration. So it's certainly an honor and privilege to have Sergeant Whitaker and the supervisor administer the oath of office.
Okay, who would like to come hold the Bible? I'm going to have you stand right here. I'm going to ask Officer Whitaker to come over here. Sergeant Whitaker, excuse me, you're going to put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Why don't you hold it flat like that? There you go. Raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Andrew Whitaker,
I, Andrew Whitaker,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will defend the Constitution
I will defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the State of New York.
and the State of New York.
I will enforce all of the laws
I will enforce all the laws
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
and the town of Arundecoit.
and the town of Arundecoit.
I will fulfill the duties
I will fulfill the duties
of the rank of police sergeant
of the rank of police sergeant
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
I will serve, protect, and guide
I will serve, protect, and guide
the citizens of the town of Arundecoit.
the citizens of the town of Arundecoit.
I will obey all orders, rules, and regulations
I'll obey all orders, rules, and regulations
of the Arundecoit Police Department.
of the Arundecoit Police Department.
Sergeant Whitaker, congratulations.
I just want to thank everybody for coming tonight. If I was to begin and thank everybody, we'd be here all night, and I'm sure you all have other stuff to do. So first, I want to thank the town board for giving me this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Also the chief of police and the captain for their having me take this position. Sorry, I'm a little nervous for once in my life. I did come to this position. It wasn't easy for me. I had to, work real hard for it, and I wasn't able to do it without my wife, Dawn. She really helped me and inspired me to do the studying, and it took a lot of family time away. Obviously not enough because I got 4 kids, but I did have to take some time away from the family, and I do appreciate this opportunity. Like the chief said, I've been here for 14 years. I always enjoyed coming into work, enjoy working for the town of Arundecoit. I have family that still lives here, so it is great. Right now I'm working nights, so I don't get to see them as much, but that's all right, because they don't want to see me at night anyhow. But I really appreciate this opportunity, and I promise that I will fulfill the rank of sergeant to my best abilities. Thank you.
Come on, Cap. You shine.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just right to the center.
I know, 2 maybe.
That's good enough. You're funny.
I'm telling you, reminds me of the old days. Oh. Okay. And Jamie, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, there is no one signed up for public input. However, at this point in time, if anyone wishes to come address the board on any particular topic, they are welcome to do so. And I know we're clearing out the room a little bit, and we thank people in advance for library voices in the hallway. Would anyone wish to address the board? With that, we'll close public input, move on to the financial report. Madam Comptroller.
Thank you, Supervisor Seeley. The 2018 financial results for the town as of March 31st. Total expenses, actual as well as encumbered, are $9,321,000, 27% of budget, which is higher than the 25% of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown is actual expenditures, $7,191,000, and encumbered expenses, $2,130,000. Encumbrances are usually high early in the year as departments continue to establish and commit to commodities, services, and supplies that will be needed throughout the year. The general fund expenses are above budget at 27.7%, or $5,728,000. The breakdown of those expenses: actual expenditures, $4,557,000, encumbrances, $1,171,000. In aggregate, the expenses in the highway funds are $1,727,000, or 31.2% of budget, above the percent of the year that has elapsed. The costs there result from sizable expenses and encumbrances for gas, fuel, salt, and equipment parts as expected. Expenditures in the library are under budget at 19.3%, or $446,000. The sewer fund expenses are at 21.2% of budget, equating to $867,000. Expenses in stormwater drainage total $164,000, 20.7% of budget. The general fund has recorded revenue of $12,072,000, 59.4% of budget. At the end of March, the town had received $10.8 million, or 100% of real estate tax, and 65% of payment in lieu of tax payments. Included in other sources of revenue are Metley Center settlement proceeds of $450,000 and favorable building permit fees related primarily to Providence Housing. Received in that line item is $102,000, 51% of budget. The other major revenue line items, such as sales tax, mortgage tax, franchise cable fees, and per capita state aid, are not due yet. Regarding the entire town, $23.4 million, or 68.8% of revenue and appropriated fund balance, has been received. Approximately $16.8 million of the amount received is real estate tax, and that is 100% of that line item. At month end, the library had received $2,184,000, 94.6% of its budgeted revenue. 76.1%, or $4,164,000 is in for the highway. Sewer has received $4,038,000, 99.2% of budget. Drainage remains at $763,000, 99.9% of revenue. Page 3 of this report presents the first quarter summary and comparison to the prior 6 years. Regarding expenditures by fund, which are included on the top third of the page, the percent of total town budget spent and encumbered is 27%, and is the same as last year with fire-related expenses excluded. The 27% is, however, somewhat lower than that of the first quarter of the previous years. The trend in each of the fire-impacted funds is as I just described for the total town. The middle third of the page contains the pertinent sources of revenue for the general fund. The bottom third of the page allows for revenue comparisons of the other funds, with the last line reflecting the bottom line collective revenue and fund balance for the town. Although the general fund revenue of 59.4% is lower than last year, it basically parallels the prior years. The total town revenue and fund balance of 68.8% is slightly lower than prior years. This concludes my financial report for the month of March.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Any questions or comments? And for those of our residents who like to follow along every month with our financial report, when we do these quarterly comparisons of previous years, you'll know a significant difference between this year and last year, mainly because of the fire. Both the cost attributed to the fire and our insurance recoveries increased both our revenue and expenditures. So it's not an apples to apples. So thankfully, we have a number of previous years to trend on, and it looks like it's right on par with previous years. So thank you, Madam Clerk, Madam Comptroller. With that, I am actually going to jump to agenda item 19 under Comptroller. Madam Clerk, would you please read?
Item number 19, authorizing the appointments of audit committee members to fill 2 vacancies.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. We're moving to this because one of our appointees tonight is here, and I don't want to keep him waiting longer because he was so generous to come as far as the Apraxia Awareness Day with his wife, April. We are going to, this resolution, if approved, would appoint Gary Adams and Lori Barnum to our Town Audit Committee, which is a very important, I would say control, but a very important independent lens that we have to assess and look at our town audit, our circular audit that's done every year. Certainly we have an able comptroller's office, accounting firm, but we really appreciate the fact that our residents take the time to look at the audit, provide scrutiny, and I think it's a very valuable check on the work that we do. So we thank the residents for coming forward and doing this. This would appoint Gary Adams and former Councilwoman Lori Barnum. I find it didn't take me long to enlist her to something new, so she's going to graciously serve on the audit committee. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. And it appears it is now 7:35. With that, Madam Clerk, we will move on to the first public hearing for PH 2018-1.
Public hearing number 1, adopting a local law to amend Chapter 51 of the Code of the Town of Arundecoit.
A motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. At last month's regular town board meeting, a proposed law was introduced. This would, I would say modernize, but it would modernize, but also amend our town procurement policy to align it with the guidelines that are in state law. Mainly, those are the floors by which competitive bidding is required. It would align those with state law. At the current moment, our town code actually notwithstands state law and provides much lower floors for procurement. As a result, sometimes it don't say disrupts the balance between efficient government and cost-effective government, but at times is prohibitive on us moving forward efficiently with projects. So this would align that with the state law, as most other municipalities are at right now. I believe the last time the state law was augmented to higher levels was 2008, so this amendment to town code really comes 10 years late, so I'm not sure if state law will be amended again, but we're just catching up, so to speak. With that, I did not see anyone signed up to comment on the proposed law. However, if anyone wishes to come forward, the law was posted on the town board website and at town hall since its introduction last month. Going once, going twice, I will now accept a motion to close the public hearing.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. We will make a motion to adopt next month. Madam Clerk, hearing number 2.
Public hearing number 2 on the matter of amending Chapter 93 of the Code of the Town of Arundecoit relating to bow hunt regulations for the deer management program.
Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing is open. So brief explanation. In 2017, the town board passed a town law that in many ways codified our long-existing deer management program, which is run by the Arundecoit Police Department. In doing so, we delegated the ability of the police department within certain guidelines in the law to make certain interpretations in managing the program. And I remind folks that the program serves a very, very important public service and public policy goal, and that is to control our deer population, not simply in the interest of the nuisance that they might bring, but mainly because it has shown a significant reduction in motor vehicle accidents attributed to deer being hit, other public health issues such as deer ticks, etc. So it's been a very well-managed program. We codified the program into law in 2017. The police department does make certain interpretations in managing the program. We looked at the law that we adopted last year and looked at some of the interpretations made by the police department because we bestow upon them the authority to manage the program. In making some interpretations in the first year under the new law, we decided to codify some of those into and updating the deer management law. It's just, we knew that in basically codifying a well-run program into law that was a very nuanced program might involve some tightening up of the statute. So in doing so, we're doing largely 3 things in this proposed town law. The first is to ratify an interpretation made by the police department in managing the program and upheld by the Deer Management Control Board, which stated that there's a provision in the law that requires that an arrow must land a certain distance from a property line. The assumption that the determination made by the police department is if the hunter's back is to a property line and is firing away from the property line, then that distinction would not apply if it was going towards the center of the property. The second is an interpretation made by the IPD this past year. The statute says that when school is not in session, the deer management program cannot be allowed to take place on that particular day. We had an instance last year where one particular school, or maybe a handful of elementary schools in, I believe, East Arundecoit, were off for the day. We made the determination because of that, we felt it necessary to not have the deer management, the bow hunt that particular day. We were codifying that when any school is closed, then the deer management program will not take place on that particular day. The third involves an exemption to the 150-foot buffer area by which a hunter is allowed to fire a bow within the proximity of a residence. State law provides it's 150 feet? Thank you. 150 feet. However, there is a longstanding Department of Environmental Conservation regulation that states if an adjoining residence gives consent for, within that buffer area, gives consent for a bow to be fired, then it preempts that state law. It allows an exemption to that state law. So in doing so, we're codifying town law to align with that state regulation. I will note these revisions were discussed really after, almost immediately after the deer management programs finished last year. They were meant to, again, codify the management of the program and ensure that town law reflected how the program was interpreted by the police department and managed. And altogether, what we want to do is ensure that the law is in line with managing the program in the most effective manner possible. Alice, the town attorney, anything to clarify there?
Excellent job.
Oh, thank you. So with that, the public hearing is open. Did not see anyone signed up, but if anyone wishes to address the town board on this matter, they're welcome to do so. And please, sir, just state your name and your address.
Yeah, Jeff Goder, 224 Wildmere Road. You said, as far as the distance, 150 feet from any residence. Okay, when they first started this program, Dave Baker from the DEC came down, did a bunch of properties. I don't like the word residence. It should be living quarters. Because what people could do is, let's say you have a neighbor that doesn't want this to take place. All they'd have to do is go down and put a shed up or something like that, which would nullify that 150 foot. So I'd like to see it as a living quarters, a 24-hour living quarters. Garages were not included, sheds were not included when Dave did this. And you know, we're having some problems with some residents, and I just don't want to see them all of a sudden say, okay, I'm going to put a shed up. That's my residence. You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay?
Do you have anything to?
What we put into the law reflects what's in the DEC law about 150-foot regulation. So that it does mirror what's allowed under state law in terms of having dwellings or structures have that 150-foot buffer, but then allowing permission of the owner or the lessee or their family member to hunt with a closer.
Well, you know the problems that we're having.
No, I understand.
On a couple of
And
pieces
again,
of property. You know what the extent that these people will go to try and shut properties down.
Understood, and this recognizes that the exemption afforded under DEC guidelines and incorporates it into the law.
Okay, so sheds and things of this nature.
It would be under the proposed, actually under current law, I think it's dwellings or structures. Is that correct?
And what we had under the prior law did not allow for a waiver for the 150 foot. So previously, the law as it stands right now has a 150-foot buffer from dwellings, buildings, or structures. That does reflect the DEC law. What we added as a town board, what you decided as a town board, was to add designated bus stops. And then what this amendment will do, without the ability to have a waiver from the owner, was 150 feet, period, the end. What we are finding and what the police department was finding in interpretation, that was too stringent and did not match what the DEC does allow, in that an owner of that structure or dwelling can basically waive that 150-foot requirement. We did not have that ability to waive in our law, and the police department was in agreement that was really reasonable, given that was the DEC standard. So this change will actually go away from our 150-foot with no ability to waiver, and now adds in the ability to waiver, similar to what's required or what's allowed under the DEC laws.
So are we, I guess I'm just asking, are we protected then?
This is actually giving more permission than what was previously allowed.
Okay.
What's now allowed is no hunting with 150 feet of a dwelling or structure. Now, as long as the hunter, through the police department, can document that there's permission of that owner,
Yeah, but let's say if you don't have permission, like I have a piece,
you would not be able to, without permission
Well,
of that
that-
person.
that's not good then. That's something you guys ought to look at. Because I have a piece right now where I have permission from this landowner, the other landowner moved, another landowner bought it, and he could come right down there and, in the woods here, and put a shed up.
That's
I'm
an
done.
accessory structure, that's not a
What
residence.
counts as a structure you have it in the law is dwelling, building, or structure.
You see what I'm saying? You could, you know, it matter, what are you gonna consider a structure, what are you gonna consider a building? You see what I'm saying?
And I'll point out, we can't go beneath what the DEC allows. So DEC law says you cannot hunt within a structure without the,
What?
Jeff, that would just go through the town committee anyway, the whole committee.
Well, you did,
If anything had, just go through the committee. So, again, the police department, makes interpretations of the existing law. These amendments the purpose of them are to align with certain interpretations that were made, this past year. That's not to say that future interpretations won't be made
okay.
if there are people
So
that.
it's not cut in stone then, is what?
Well, we try to make it as cut in stone as possible, but there is a certain degree of discretion that the police department makes in making determinations.
Right.
And we recognize that it's a nuanced program. You can't completely codify every property into law. That's why we give the police department not want to say latitude, but we allow them to use their discretion in interpreting the town law in managing the program.
Okay, all right. I'll
With
leave
the goal of meeting the objectives of the program, which are always, it's a balancing act, but we always do this program knowing that there's a strict objective that we are tasked with, and that is to manage the deer population. And we're grateful for our hunters for doing so.
Okay, all right, very good.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Tony Ferrara, 487 Pine Grove Avenue. I just wanted to thank the board, thank the supervisor, thank people in the past. We do have a deer problem in the town of Arundecoit, and a lot of people, what they don't realize is a lot of these hunters sacrifice their vacations and that now for the fall. And I think that rule with schools being off is a good rule. And anything else, I think the committee would look into it. But I just wanted to thank all you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? With that, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, please call up agenda item,
2A.
yes, thank you.
Resolution number 2A regarding State Environmental Quality Review Act compliance for a local law to amend Chapter 93 of the Arundecoit Town Code.
Motion.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, explanation, please?
Thank you. For the purposes of seeker, this is an unlisted action. And so in reviewing the proposed local law to modify the existing regulations associated with the Arundecoit bow hunt, we looked at the fact that there is no physical alteration involved with this particular action. So the typical impacts we might think about with respect to historic, archaeological, aesthetic, or natural resources, traffic, community character, those kinds of things, they don't apply. The one area that we did take a look at was the impact to human health. In this instance, the proposed amendments to the regulations are actually improving the safe administration of the program. The program continues to be administered by IPD. Bow hunters registered with the program continue to need to meet minimum qualifications and demonstrate their ability to operate safely. For those reasons, we find that there are no large or moderate impacts associated with this particular action and are recommending a negative declaration for the purposes of seeker.
Thank you, Ms. Ivers. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 2B, adopting a local law to amend Chapter 93 of the Code of the Town of Arundecoit relating to bow hunt regulations for the deer management program.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, and thank you for, I just want to thank our IPD for their work on this, on my staff, Patrick Pinkerton, and our town attorney. Again, this is a very good program that we were tasked with codified into law in 2017. It was an extensive process last year. I think we did a good job. I think we had a very successful deer management program last year. And this effort is basically just to allow the town code to reflect the management of the program. So I'm very happy that we are moving to do that tonight. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Public hearing 3PH 2018-1, adopting a local law to amend Article 2 and Article 6 of Chapter 222 of the Code of the Town of Arundecoit.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. This is we will now move tonight, we're, make a motion to reopen the public hearing.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is reopened. Again, I will just go over some brief changes that were made to these revisions and amendments to our town codes as it relates to speed since our hearing last month. First of all, I'd like to thank all of the residents who came last month to share their feedback, as well as the many stakeholders who have done so over the past several months. In looking at the law as proposed versus the amendments made, some specific changes that were made involved how we looked at the county roads. In the first introduction, many of the county roads, if not most of the county roads, were proposed to be lowered to 30 miles per hour, aligning with the new default town speed limit. An extensive conversation with the county Department of Transportation ensued with Commissioner Kiley and Chief Tantillo and myself. It was a good dialogue with them. They expressed some positive feedback. And ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to phase out some of the county roads that we lowered to 30 from the start. However, we are going to have some targeted county roads lowered to 30 miles per hour, particularly Cooper Road will be lowered to 30. The northern ends of St. Paul and Culver will be lowered to 30. In addition, the area on Titus Avenue just before you approaching Gardner Road from the east, all the way to St. Paul Boulevard, which really encompasses the Titus Cooper neighborhood, that will be lowered to 30. In addition to that, we looked at the schools that were on county roads, particularly Seneca School, which is at the intersection of Thomas Avenue and St. Paul Boulevard, Rogers School, which is near Seneca Avenue, and Laurelton Pardee School, which is on the intersection of Norton and Ivan Green. And what we've done, we've created school speed zones for those schools. So what you'll see now is a 25 mile per hour school speed zone on St. Paul Boulevard and Thomas Avenue in the vicinity of Seneca School during school hours. You'll see the same on Seneca Avenue, parallel to where you're approaching Rogers School, those feeder roads into Rogers School, and you have so many children crossing Seneca Avenue during the day. The same goes for Norton Street near Laurelton Pardee School. It's a good balancing act. We reserve the right to continue to assess the county roads, but above all, the main objective overall was to lower the speed on our town roads, and I think we've done that, as well as the many roads that feed our schools, keeping them or lowering them to 25 miles per hour. By and large, the original proposals for those feeder roads to the schools remains, and those roads remain at 25 miles per hour. With that, I did not see anyone sign up for the public hearing. However, I will ask anyone who wishes to address the board on this matter to come forward. Hearing none, I will now take a motion to close public hearing. In a second?
Second.
Thank you. With that, I will now ask Madam Clerk to call up 3PH 2018-1A, please.
Item 1A regarding State Environmental Quality Review Act compliance for a local law to amend Article 2 and Article 6 of Chapter 222 in the Arundecoit Town Code.
Motion
So moved.
and a second.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Ivers, explanation, please.
Thank you, Supervisor. This is another local law to make an amendment to the existing town code, which is an unlisted action. The only physical alteration associated with the proposed action is the installation of replacement or new signage reflecting the change in speed. The new signage would conform with New York State DOT and or Monroe County DOT standards. The signs are not expected to or associated with any potential large or moderate adverse impacts in community character, historic, archaeological, aesthetic, or natural resources. Additionally, the reduction in speed is not associated with any impacts or moderate or large with respect to traffic. The reduction in speed doesn't change traffic patterns or isn't associated with any adjustment to road geometry. And because the reduction in speed is town-wide, it isn't associated with any potential change in travel patterns. For these reasons, we're recommending a negative declaration for the purposes of seeker.
Thanks, Ms. Ivers. Any questions or comments on the seeker? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk, 1B,
Item
please.
1B, adopting a local law to amend Article 2 and Article 6 of Chapter 222 of the Town Code of Arundecoit relating to speed limits.
A motion
So moved.
and a second?
Second.
With that, I would actually like to offer up a amendment while the motion is open. We, after conversation with Commissioner Kiley, I'm going to propose that we amend the effective date to July 1st, 2018 to ensure that we have everything ready in order, given there's a significant amount of signage required and changes. Do I have a motion for that amendment?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The amendment is adopted. The resolution is currently open. Bob, Mr. Commissioner Kiley, can I just provide a 2-minute overview, or would you provide a 2-minute overview of just the plan of action to implement this new town code if adopted?
Thank you, Supervisor Sealy. Right now, the Department of Public Works has a plan in place to order the series of signs necessary to bring the town from 35-mile-an-hour townwide speed limit to a 30-mile-an-hour townwide speed limit. As many of the folks traversing the roadways can see, there are many signs on the county highways, on some of the town roads that say town speed limit 35. Every one of those signs needs to be removed and replaced with either a speed limit 30 or a town speed limit 30. So we first inventory and analyzed where each one of these signs was on our local roadways. And as, in addition, the County of Monroe has also inventoried and analyzed where all of their signs are that say, again, town speed limit 35. The extra time affords the town to work with our local vendors to get these signs manufactured and our crews to install them. At this time, we're proposing 2 crews, one east, one west, for implementation.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions for the commissioner on that? And Chief Tantillo and I have been in conversations. Obviously, this is a change. We want to make sure not only our residents, but our neighboring communities are aware of the proposed changes. Just so that, you know, again, it's a, I don't want to say a change in behavior, but it is a change in a regulation that impacts our daily lives. So we are going to work with stakeholders in neighboring communities, using various mediums to communicate those changes as we lead up to the July 1st implementation date. And I just want to thank the town board for working with us on this. I think this began last year when we worked to create school speed zones near our senior high schools. And in doing so, we committed ourselves to taking a comprehensive look. And I'm happy with the process. We have looked at this very carefully. As you can see by the revisions to town code, it's not a simple broad stroke. This was a very nuanced and finite process. So thank you for your ongoing support and feedback. And I'm very happy that we're moving to do this tonight. Any questions or comments?
I would just also thank the chief and Commissioner Kiley for putting the 3 E's out there, and I know you're going to be working hard from now to July 1st to make it happen, so thank you.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted with the amendment.
Public hearing 2, authorizing a no U-turn zone in the Hellendale Road Primary School Zone during school hours.
Thank you. This public hearing is currently held open from last month. I will now take a motion to close.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you. At last month's meeting, a group of residents came forward and correctly indicated that state law enacted in 2015 now preempts any local law regarding U-turns in school speed zones. As a result, we are tabling the proposed law, and we'll work with the residents on Hellendale and the neighboring streets just to ensure that there is safety and above all, our intended outcomes of the proposed town law are still implemented using the state law, and we're educating folks. So we thank our residents for their input on that. Now, I just want to not reopen a previous, but I just want to clarify for the board, for the record, that under, this was a previous law that was adopted, under New York state law, the 150-foot setback from dwellings and structures does not include abandoned dwellings, detached garages, decks, pool areas, storage, sheds, and outbuildings, even when they are temporarily occupied. The views expressed during the public hearing are addressed by coming into compliance with the state law. So we thank our residents for their questions about that, and we wanted to make sure we provided clarification during the meeting. I believe they've left, but hopefully they're home now watching on TV. So I just wanted to make that clarification for the record. With that, before we get into our items for board action for the general meeting, we're going to go back to our approval of minutes, which we skipped over. Madam Clerk loves when I'm just bouncing around the agenda.
Approval of minutes, March 13, 2018, the workshop meeting.
Motion?
Move.
And a second?
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved.
March 20th, 2018, the regular town board meeting.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the minutes are approved. We will now move on to items for board action. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Item number 1, authorizing the appointment to the Town of Arundecoit Board of Assessment Review.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Assessor Mineo, explanation, please?
Thank you, Supervisor. The first resolution is for a vacancy that we have in the Board of Assessment Review that was held previously by Don Herbert. He has retired, and we're putting forth Darlene Morabito, who was one of our temporary board members, to fill that position.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 2, authorizing the appointment of a temporary one-year appointment to the Town of Arundecoit Board of Assessment Review.
Motion, please.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Ms. Mineo, explanation, please?
Thank you, Supervisor. This is another resolution for a Board of Assessment Review member. In lieu of the reassessment this year, I'd like to bring on additional members to help with the amount of hearings that we'll be doing. So we've brought forth Jack DiMartino as a candidate for temporary board member for 1 year. This position is, and the other position also are both allotted for in the budget.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 3, authorizing the assessor to attend a seminar on assessment in Ithaca, New York on July 15th through the 21st, 2018.
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Mineo, explanation, please?
Okay, thank you again. This is for a, the property, real property tax law requires that I have so many hours of education, of continuing education, to be in compliance with my assessor's certification. This seminar in July will put me in compliance with the hours needed for that.
Thank you. And I'll note this comes under a budgeted item. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 4, accepting gifts for the town's paper shredding event.
Motion?
Moved.
A second.
Second.
Commissioner Kylie, explanation, please?
Thank you, Supervisor Sealy. This resolution formally accepts gifts from Erica Walter at Keller Williams Realty and Mark S. Gunther, attorney at law, for the gifts necessary to hire the Eco Park LTD, the service provider for the town's paper shredding event.
Thanks, Bob. And as I mentioned in my opening remarks, we held a very successful paper shredding event, which was made possible through the generosity of Ms. Walter and Mr. Gunther, and we're very appreciative for that. And I am happy to retroactively approve this. Not retroactively, but it already happened, and we are accepting the gifts retroactively, so to speak. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 5, authorizing the purchase of one 2009 dump truck with plowing equipment from the town of Pittsford.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Kiley, an explanation, please.
Due to the fire of Christmas Eve in 2016, the town of Arundecoit is looking to replace used vehicles within the highway fleet. As such, the town has the opportunity via an intermunicipal agreement to purchase a used 2009 dump truck from the town of Pittsford for a price of $49,500. The valuation of this vehicle was conducted by Teetsworth Auctions with a range of $47,000 to $52,000. Thus, myself and the highway commissioner settled on $49,500 right in the middle for this vehicle.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 6, declaring certain equipment surplus property.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Kiley, once again.
At the Palmyra auction upcoming here in the month of May, the town typically sends a variety of different used pieces of equipment for auction. As the town board can see on Addenda A, there are an assortment of vehicles that we look to auction off at the Palmyra auction, which is the municipal auction by Teetsworth.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 7, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a contract for special inspections related to the new Department of Public Works facility.
Motion.
Moved.
In a second.
Second.
Mr. Kiley, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The RFP committee is recommending a CME Associates for the special inspections related to the new highway department. The RFP committee met with 2 firms, both responsible within the timeframes that the town established for special inspections. Atlantic Testing and CME Associates. We sat down with both of those vendors. The RFP committee was unanimous, consisting of myself, Supervisor Sealy, and Deputy Supervisor Perticone, that CME Associates provides the best opportunity for the town. And as such, we put forth CME Associates tonight.
And Bob, just a kind of a 2-sentence explanation of what this scope of work entails.
Gotcha. So the special inspections with regard to this project are third-party independent inspections working on behalf of the town for inspections to materials, be it existing materials on site, soils, any type of stone, compaction rates, the steel associated with the project. So this vendor will work directly for the town conducting those inspections, and those products will be purchased by our other contractors, and this is the belt and suspenders to ensure that those products are compliant.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments?
This is required by New York State Building Code.
It's a comment, not a question. Show off. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 8, awarding the new Department of Public Works facility Contract 2, site work.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thanks. Commissioner Kiley, would you just preface the next 5 resolutions at once, and then you can run us through the first one, but these are all relate to basically the same large projects, so why don't you just run us through an overview, and then you can go into the first bid.
Absolutely, sir. So the next 5 resolutions award the 5 prime contractors for the construction of the new Department of Public Works. The site work, the general trades, the general contractor, the fire protection and plumbing, the HVAC, and the electrical contractors. All of these bids were publicly bid. Bergman Associates as the architect and engineer, Krista Construction as the construction manager. Those bids were formally opened and read aloud, and it's really my pleasure to put forth the next 5 resolutions, culminating a long 14, 18 months post-fire to be at this point to award these 5 contracts is very exciting for the town as a whole, for the Department of Public Works employees, and it's my pleasure to go through the next 5 resolutions.
Sure. Thanks, Bob. And the first one relates to site work.
That is correct. So the site work is the earthwork required for the Department of Public Works building. This would be the grading work, the sub-base for all the parking lots. We received considerable interest in this bid package. The lowest responsible bidder was Mark Cerrone Incorporated. The construction estimate for this component of the project was $2,424,704. I'm happy to report that the bids came in under budget, with the lowest responsible bidder being, again, Mark Cerrone Incorporated, in the amount of $1,982,000 even. That's under budget by $442,704.
Thanks, and that'll be a recurring theme for the next four resolutions after this. Thankfully, our construction estimates were conservative, so all of these bids came in significantly under budget, which is good news for the taxpayer. Any questions or comments on Public Works Facility Contract number 2? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 9, awarding the new Department of Public Works Facility Contract 3, General Trades.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Commissioner Kylie, explanation?
This bid package is related to the facility itself, the actual structure of the building, and the foundations and the piles that the building will rest on. There was a fair interest in this bid package, with the lowest responsible bidder being DiAgostino General Contractors Incorporated. The engineering estimate for this project was $8,399,818. The bid that we will receive and accept tonight is $7,747,000 even, which again is under budget by $652,818.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments on this? Obviously, it's the bulk of the bids. This is the biggest contract, General Trades. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Item number 10, awarding the new Department of Public Works Facility Contract 4, Plumbing and Fire Protection.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Mr. Kylie, explanation, please.
This bid package award is for the plumbing and fire protection. Simply stated, the construction estimate for this bid package was $1,147,130. The lowest responsible bidder for this bid package is Thurston Dudek LLC in the amount of $857,000 even, which again is under budget by $290,130.
Thanks, Robert. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 11, awarding the new Department of Public Works Facility Contract 5, HVAC.
Motion.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kylie.
This contract is for the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning within the facilities. We had significant interest in this bid package, with the lowest responsible bidder being Neri Mechanical LLC. The construction estimate for this component of the project was $1,306,421. The lowest responsible bidder, again being Neri LLC, was in the amount of $859,700, which again is considerably under budget, under by $446,721.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 12, awarding the new Department of Public Works Facility Contract 6, Electrical.
Motion.
Moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Kylie.
As described by the town clerk, this is for the last component. This is for the electrical work with regard to the new construction of the Department of Public Works. There was a very good interest in this bid package, with the lowest responsible bidder being Kaplan Schmidt Electric Incorporated. The construction estimate for this was $2,243,368. I'm happy to report that we are significantly under budget, with the lowest responsible bidder again being Kaplan Schmidt in the amount of $1,139,000 even, which is under budget by $1,104,368, significantly under budget.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Before I call a vote, I just want to, I think since I say, I don't recall when the first resolution we took up specific to the new facility was, but it's been really probably well over a dozen resolutions we've adopted, and it's been a long process that's gotten us to this point. And we're already moving earth over there, but we'll have a formal, official groundbreaking this Friday. It's Friday, yes, and you know, folks will really start to see a lot of activity over there. So I'd like to thank Bob Kiley, who's really worked exhaustively for the past 15 months on this, getting us to this point. Thank you, Bob. Carrie Ivers for providing a significant environmental review. Our Deputy Supervisor, John Perticone, who we're very fortunate to have such a broad knowledge in the construction industry, and he certainly is a great asset throughout this project. It's like having a second CM on site, and I know John likes this stuff and enjoys it, but it really is a valuable service to provide. And I know Pete Wayner participated a lot early on in looking at the design and continues to be a good check on that. We value his expertise. And just in general, the board for their support. We really appreciate it. 15 months might not seem like it's streamlined, but it has been. We've really, if you want to talk the process of acquiring land from the state of New York and the myth of red tape, it does exist still, and I think we cut through it as cleanly as possible. Our folks at Krista and Bergman, who've helped us through this, have been terrific. And you know, tonight it's good. We are this is a significant expenditure. And even though it's several $1 million under what we were expecting or budgeting, it's still significant investment long term in our town. And you know, we build this not really because we chose to. It's not that we don't want to, but this was not a choice that we made. It was something that you know, fate forced us to do. And I think we've really done a nice job in turning adversity into opportunity. And you know, moving our DPW off-site is good because we're going to have adequate space for a really modern, suitable, effective facility for our Department of Public Works. But I also think about the opportunities that exist in replacing the industrial vein that runs in the back of our town hall campus. So I really think this is long-term. The work we've done in the past 15 months is good for our town in the whole and on the balance. And I want to thank all those folks who have been helpful along the way. And Mr. Kiley has something to add to that.
I just need to also put in that through that exhaustive process for the land transfer, the town attorney was certainly extremely helpful through that. It's typically a 24-month process that we compressed down to 12 months, and so I certainly just wanted to recognize that.
I can't believe I forgot you, Miss Madam. Just give me the side eye now. So with that, I will call the roll. Anyone have anything else to add?
Congratulations
Thumbs
on
up,
the job
yeah.
well done, Bob
Yeah.
and company.
I mean, I think it's an understatement how hard Bob worked on this as well, and, you know, he knew the job backward and forward. He's been very helpful with the contractors too. In fact, we got some, town forces out there right now doing some work, so there is some work going on even with our own forces. But Bob really, has done a real good job on keeping things under control over there. And, you know, we just de-scoped all these contractors, it's all part of it, and I'm very confident that everybody we chose here tonight is gonna do a good job for us in town.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. Madam Clerk.
Item number 13, calling for a public hearing in the matter of Consolidated Sewer District Extension to include 154 Lake Bluff Road, tax account number 062.50-1-2.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Bob, brief explanation, please.
This calls for a public hearing to be held next month to extend the consolidated sewer district to the property as the town clerk just described.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 14, accepting the extra expenses claim for the Department of Public Works.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
I lied, this is not the last fire-related resolution. Bob, explanation, please.
This is one of the last components of our fire claim, near 14 months after the fire. The total claim that we are settling tonight is the extra expenses category, which has a value of $1,793,617.77.
Thanks, Bob. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 15, authorizing the town of Arundequoit to accept a grant from the Genesee Valley Regional Market in support of the Arundequoit Farmers Market.
Motion. And a second?
Second.
Thank you. This allows us to accept a grant which we successfully applied for from the GVRMA to support the Arundequoit Farmers Market in the amount of $5,736. This will help us develop nutritional fact books for adults and children's, and the acquisition of branded promotional items, both in support of the Arundequoit Farmers Market. So we're grateful for this opportunity, and it enhances the experience and of our farmers market. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 16, authorizing the scheduling of a public hearing pertaining to the adoption of the Arundequoit 2018 Community Development Block Grant Program.
Motion.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Madam Comptroller, an explanation, please.
The town is expecting to receive a block grant from Housing and Urban Development for its 2018-2019 program year. The exact amount of the grant is not yet known. So in anticipation of the grant, the town's committee decided to use the same amount as last year, which is $809,845. So basically, we received 10 proposals plus the admin proposal, and we have gone through, reviewed the program, and put up a proposal that's basically the same as last year. We have one new additional program this year, which is a turnaround program in the amount of $100,000. And the IHIP, the Arundequoit Home Improvement Program, is actually less by roughly $100,000 because there is prior year's funding still available in that program. We've also had some minor changes with our services programs. So that information is what we will be viewing, and we will ask the public to speak on next month at the public hearing, which this resolution requests.
And am I correct that Barb Johnson from our consultant LaBella Associates will be there to run us through the proposed 2018-19? Thank you.
Yes, she will.
And just the turnaround playground program, the new initiative, is something we tried to get a little innovative with in addressing a critical town issue and fulfilling an amenity that a neighborhood is without. We're looking to acquire a zombie property, particularly in the Goat Hill neighborhood between Portland and between Goodman and Culver Road, and sandwiched between 104 and Norden Street. That neighborhood is currently underserved, does not have a playground, has several vacant zombie homes. We're going to use the funds, as we are allowed to do under the conditions of the federal CDBG program, to acquire a property or perhaps multiple properties and transform that into a playground for the neighborhood. So we're very excited about it. It's hopefully trying to kill many birds with one stone, and again, we're just very happy with being able to have these federal dollars to make investments in our community. Any questions or comments? And this will call for a public hearing at 7:36, not a minute later. 7:35, not a minute earlier, on May 15th at our next town board meeting. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 17, in the matter of scheduling a public hearing pertaining to amending the Arundequoit Community Development Block Grant Program 5-Year Strategic Plan 2015-2019.
Motion?
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller.
This resolution is calling for a public hearing to amend the CDBG program 5-year strategic plan so that it can incorporate the requirements for public to construct, install public facilities. And this is driven by the proposal for a turnaround playground.
Thank you. Motion?
Moved.
Excuse me, any questions or comments for the Comptroller? And this will be 7:36 at our next regular town board meeting. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 18, in the matter of scheduling a public hearing pertaining to amending the Citizen Participation Plan as required for Arundequoit's Community Development Block Grant Program.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second?
Thank you. Madam Comptroller, explanation, please.
This resolution calls for a public hearing in order to amend the Citizen Participation Plan of the Community Development Block Grant Program. Because the town of Arundequoit is an entitlement community, we must have a citizen participation plan. Currently, we have a community advisory committee, one public hearing, and then there is the opportunity for residents to comment on our CAPER, which is our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. This resolution is calling for an amendment, and basically that amendment will be to increase the public hearings from 1 to 2.
Thank you, and, this is a significant amount of federal dollars. We want to make sure that not only are we following federal guidelines, but also we are ensuring that the public is given the opportunity to participate in the process, and we're very happy with our citizen committee that reviews our draft plan, but this just adds another outlet and avenue for the public to assess and give us feedback on the program. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 20, authorizing the comptroller to attend the annual Association of Towns Finance School in Ellicottville, New York, from May 10th to 11th, 2018.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Comptroller, brief explanation?
Yes, this resolution is requesting approval for me to attend the finance school. The agenda is attached, and you can see from the agenda that the seminars are relevant to the financial management duties of the controller.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 21, authorizing a promotion to police sergeant.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Chief Tantillo, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. In order to fill a vacancy within the rank of police sergeant with the Arundequoit Police Department, we're recommending moving forward with the name of Officer Neknoy Shemang. Officer Shemang is an 18-year veteran of the Arundequoit Police Department. He's bilingual, as he speaks English and Laotian. He's been a patrol officer for a number of years on various platoons. He's a police technician and a bicycle officer. He's been involved in a number of critical incidents where the actions that he's taken have de-escalated the situation, and his techniques have been implemented at the Monroe County Public Safety Training Facility for in-service police officer training. He's an instructor at the Public Safety Training Center, most notably now for Blue Courage. He served as a Granite member, which was the Greater Rochester Area Narcotics Enforcement Team, and did an exceptional job in developing leads associated with narcotics investigations, writing search warrants, and developing operational plans. He's a highly decorated police officer, Officer of the Year, Excellent Police Services Award, Unit Commendations, Life-Saving Award, and Badge of Honor recognition for his critical incident responses. He's been highly recommended by his platoon supervisors, and we're recommending him for the eligibility position with the civil service list that he's on.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Chief? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention.
Abstention? 4 ayes, 1 abstention. Resolution is adopted.
Item number 22, authorizing the reimbursement of tuition.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second.
Second.
Mr. Vanette, an explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. An employee in the Justice Court has applied for tuition reimbursement for one master's course. The cost of the course is approximately $2,199. There is funding for this in the 2018 budget, and this is in compliance with the tuition reimbursement policy.
Thank you. And just to be clear, certainly we encourage our employees to utilize this. If the employee does leave after a certain term, there is a, I don't want to say clawback, but a recapture, Jason?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 23, authorizing a budget transfer from the general fund balance to the 2018 Information Technology Projects budget.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Stone, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. As the clerk mentioned, this seeks to transfer money from the general fund balance to the IT projects budget. As the town board is aware, the IT department went through a restructuring last November. As part of that, I've been working with the IT managed services contractor, Fusion Digital, over the past few months, and we've identified 3 critical projects to the 2018 budget cycle. Those projects are a new storage array for the archiving of data, both on our servers that are being decommissioned, as well as some other content from various town staff. Upgrading and implementing new network switches and related equipment to improve the layout of the town's network, as well as upgrading server RAM to protect against loss of service down the road. If we had an issue where one of our servers failed, now we would be able to transition over to our secondary server without loss of our network.
Thanks, Nate. And this is a part of our ongoing effort to modernize and create an adequate information technology infrastructure, and it's an ongoing effort, and thanks to the board for their support and recognition that these are worthwhile investments, and probably won't be the last time we have to make an investment like that we don't know the extent of, but I know Nate's worked hard to minimize overall cost and do this in a manner that's not an it is an extensive draw from the fund balance, but one that we can certainly absorb within our overall fund balance. Questions or comments? If you are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's adopted.
Item number 24, authorizing attendance at the New York State Police Crimes Against Children Seminar.
Motion.
Moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chief Tantillo, explanation, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. The resolution is to support the attendance of this training program by Sergeant Jessica Franco, who's the commanding officer of our Criminal Investigations Unit. The training will allow her to participate in seminars and workshops associated with best practices for forensic interviews of child victims, human trafficking, internet crimes against children, and related matters. This is within the training budget of the Arundecoit Police Department and a very valuable asset to our investigative unit.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 25, authorizing legal action.
Motion. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hushler-Ray. Town was served with a notice of petition on March 7th, 2018 to answer a verified petition in the Stein versus Town of Arundecoit filing. As a result, we are seeking authorization to solicit the services of Harder Seacrest and Emery Town Attorney to answer the verified petition and do all things necessary to defend the town's interest. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 26, authorizing the amendment of the Skyview on the Ridge pilot agreement.
Motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. This would add really several properties, but really just one large property, the former Arundecoit Mall, and a few secondary properties around that to the previously, the existing pilot for Skyview on the Ridge, which the town board did support back in December. This was not added at that time because a proposed use for the parcel at that time, Comida, or now known as Imagine Monroe, had not determined if that was an acceptable, permissible use under their guidelines, since they have said it is, and as such, we will be amending to expand the properties in the pilot. This would actually conform to the previous pilot, the properties that were within. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 27, approving the special event license for Fleet Feet Sports Yellow Jacket Racing's Rochester Marathon, full and half.
Motion
Moved.
and a second.
Second.
We're very happy to in part host the annual Rochester Marathon, which is Sunday, September 23rd, 2018, from 7:30 to 2 p.m. I always like this because it reminds me of our great participation of our many neighborhoods in cheering on the runners, and it's become a nice tradition in our town, and very happy to put this forth. Questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted. With that, I thank the board members for their extensive review and of this agenda, and that concludes our regular business for the evening. Our next workshop will be Tuesday, May 8th, 2018 at 4 p.m. Next regular town board meeting, Tuesday, May 15th, 2018 at 7 p.m. I will now take a motion to adjourn. And a second. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Arundecoit Town Board on ICAT 12, Arundecoit's government access channel.